I'm Monica Price and you're watching Cuppa TV. On today's show, I'll be talking to Mike Hopkins, Principal of Southern City College, about student health and wellbeing. Also today, I'm joined by Avril, a young lady who sets about positively changing the life of young offenders. And my final guest is the CEO of a family-owned silversmith business steeped in history, Simon Price from Arthur Price. Students' health and wellbeing is very much in the news at the moment, with the amount of students seeking help with depression, for example, doubling in recent years. This has led to an increase in demand for student counselling, an area where funding has actually been reduced. Joining me today is Mike Hopkins, Principal of Southern City College, who leads one of the largest colleges in the West Midlands and looking after nearly 13,000 students across 10 campuses. Mike, hello, good morning. Thank you for joining Cuppa TV.
And thank you for inviting me.
Wonderful to see you here. So, I mean, it was actually, it's been on the news quite recently, Mike, about the amount of students that are suffering from anxiety, depression. That was just to name just a couple of them. What do Southern City College do as a college to, help the students?
Well, we focus very much on students that will come from inner city areas. So we tend to probably have more students than most colleges would have that would have issues and difficulties. So we also really put a lot more resource in. We do things in a formal way in terms of having specialist staff who provide support, specialist mentors and staff who will actually address things with students and really focus on them, so identifying the issue they've got. But we also have a lot of other services that come into the college, and in particular, quite recently we've had an organisation coming in working with students on anxiety and staff for that matter as well, and stress, and going around the centres. And in a confidential way, allowing students to make the first contact and then providing support services afterwards.
I think it's quite important you touched on that, confidential. I think that's really important. Do you, for students, is that something that the college strives to achieve for the students? They can feel they can go somewhere in a purely confidential manner? Yeah,
most definitely. If you've got issues or difficulties, you don't want those made public. And obviously, you need to be able to make sure they're accessible and people can get them very easily without having to also broadcast the fact they've got difficulties. But they come out through all sorts of areas. Sometimes students will go and seek support. Sometimes we'll find out through what we find within their lessons or through their tutors. There's a whole means of finding out what the difficulties are. But yes, it is important to keep that confidential.
And what about the general health and wellbeing of the students? What does Southern City College do to promote the health and
well,
wellbeing?
I've got a particular view about that, as you know, in terms of, one, it's not just about mental health and wellbeing in terms of the sort of traditional ways, but also being physically healthy, which is something that I have a personal view about.
Yes, because you're a keen cyclist, of course. Yes.
And so, as well as acting as a role model, and our staff do, we do an awful lot to make sure that there's a lot of physical activities. So I do know that relieving stress, relieving difficulties, you can do that by engaging people in other activities, whether that be sports or physical activities or other things, other clubs and so on. And we have a lot of activity to go on with students, a lot of events, a lot of sports, and lots of activities that go on that they can access. And as part of that, it does help. It's a sort of an informal therapy, if you like, helping students across all the campuses.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because the students now, we've got laptops, phones, iPads, all sorts of different gadgets that they have. Is it difficult to tear them away from that and actually get them doing some physical exercise? I
think sometimes it can be very difficult. I mean, there are a lot of students now, once they engage in some of the activities, then they get hooked into it. As you say, getting them away from some of the electronic devices can be fun, but I think that's a way of life. We have to embrace that. But there are a lot of things you can do which also help. We've got large screens in the common room that they can play interactive games and things on. And it's not just then simply about them playing games and hiding away. They actually can do things collectively, and we actually work with them to do those sort of things. And some of those, we've got massive Wii screens, so they do physical exercise matched in with the electronic games as well.
So it's kind of combining the two.
Absolutely.
And what about the funding, Mike? I mean, it's notorious at the moment. There's been so many, again, on the news about the lack of funding for counsellors and support for the students. What's your views on that? It's
probably one of the biggest challenges we have at the moment, because funding is being reduced. The austerity measures are obviously really having an impact. We've put in an awful lot of resources over the years. We're having to curtail that somewhat now because we simply don't have that level of resource. We've got to focus on the teaching and learning, obviously, and that's the core element. And because of the reductions and the ongoing reductions, particularly for the students who are over 19, because we've got a lot of students in the sort of 19 to 24 age range that really need support as much as the 16 to 18-year-olds do. And that funding is reducing quite significantly. So we don't have the scope to be able to put all the specialist resources in that we would have in the past. We're still trying to make sure as a college we do that, because that's the sort of college we are. But it is becoming more difficult.
Well, Mike, it's been really fascinating to talk to you today. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me, and look forward to seeing you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, my next guest gave up her stable job in the midst of a recession to help people realise their potential, and works in prisons to positively change the lives of offenders with workshops and initiatives to improve self-confidence. Please welcome Avril Grant. Avril, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me today.
Wonderful to have you here. So, Avril, tell us your story.
Wow, it's been an interesting one. About 3 years ago now, I'd been working in accounts for quite a while, for about 7 years, and I came to a point where I just knew that I wanted to give more to people, and I thought that I wasn't doing enough of or using my creative side, and I thought, okay, I could be giving a lot of value to people because I believe in people, even when they don't believe in themselves, and that's something I've always thought, really, to be honest with you. I feel like I can feel and hear people's potential when they express themselves, and I think to myself, you know, how can I help you get to where you'd like to go? And that's always been the case. So one day I was at work, and it just got to me. I thought to myself, I'd have all these visions of work, of helping individuals, and I thought, okay, why am I living someone else's dream when I can live my own? And this really struck home to me, and I thought, okay, how can I explore this? So I decided to take a week off work, go and reflect on what I was going to do, because I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this. And I kept asking myself the following questions. You know, there's got to be more to life than this. And again, what is your passion, Avril? What is it you love to do? And it came to me that I absolutely love to inspire people to achieve success. So I went back to work. I told the accountant. He thought I was barking mad. You know, this was the middle of the recession. But I decided to take a chance. I decided to quit my job and, you know, help people achieve their visions. So I started creating workshops to instill people with the self-belief, the self-confidence, the motivation, skills to actually achieve what I know they are capable of achieving, and they know what they're capable of achieving.
And what made you decide to work with with offenders?
Do you know what it was? I knew that this service would be of most benefit to them.
So you go into prisons?
I go into prisons, yes. There's about 4 prisons we're in at the moment, delivering workshops, courses, and it's basically to help them believe in themselves, cut off that negative stigma that's been placed upon them by society, so that they can really believe in themselves and their potential and achieve their visions. First, realise what their vision is and be given the skills to actually achieve it.
And do you find, does it make a difference? Do you see the difference your workshops make?
Absolutely. I mean, from the start, you've got guys in there that really don't want to open up, they don't want to share, they think, why am I here? And then, you know, after a couple of days working with me, you see them open up, sharing information. There's almost a level of trust there between them and the guys, and that's absolutely massive to have in custody, to start making them feel like they can trust again.
And do you feel that the prison services offer this service, or is it something that someone like yourself comes in and offers that service?
I do think what I do is quite unique. It's something that I've written. All my workshops and courses is tailored by myself, so I've designed all of them because I think there's definitely a need for this. People really need to, especially in their circumstances, really need to believe in themselves. I think we all, you know, make mistakes, and I believe that regardless of your past history, you know, you can achieve your vision. Your future is spotless.
And have you seen any success stories from somebody perhaps you've worked with?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was a guy, about a year ago I worked with him. He's now got his own community interest company, and he's working with offenders himself, you know. Who else? There's a guy that's gone into reflexology, one marine biology. You know, I'm so impressed with the outcomes that we've had. Yeah, just from them being able to believe in themselves again, that they really can achieve success.
It's an incredible thing, is it? But having just support and advice, do you think that's a really beneficial thing to have for offenders?
Definitely. They really need that support. They really need to know that someone really does believe in them and genuinely cares about them and their future. So if they can, I think they can sense it from, well, there's a few of us in this team now, they can sense it from our team members and of course myself, that, you know, we are passionate about what we do, and therefore that gets, well, transferred to them basically.
I can see your passion, which is great. No, it's great.
No, it's
Avril,
wonderful.
we've run out of time, unfortunately, but it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
coming on the
having
show.
me.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Welcome back to Cuppa TV. My next guest is from a fourth generation of the Price family, often a firm favourite on the wedding list, and with over 100 years expertise in manufacturing and retailing top quality cutlery, tableware and gifts. Please welcome CEO Simon Price from Arthur Price. Simon, thank you so much for coming on Cuppa TV today.
My pleasure.
Wonderful to see you, and wonderful you brought along all these lovely products, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So just tell me a little bit about Arthur Price, Simon, if you can.
Arthur Price was started in Aston in Birmingham, in Gem Street, on the 3rd of October 1902 by my great-grandfather. He had 4 children. The oldest son, my great-uncle, joined the company, and my grandfather joined the company, and they took over in 1936. My dad joined in 1948, I joined in 1982, and my son joined 2 years ago.
Oh, fantastic. So it really is a family-run business.
Absolutely.
And wonderful, you still make it, all the products are made here in the West Midlands, aren't they?
All the silverware is made in Birmingham, and a lot of the silver plate cutlery is made in Sheffield. So yeah, we make a lot of them.
Fantastic. And what's it been like working? How long have you been CEO of the company?
I've been CEO since '94, but my father was still there, so I think he was really CEO. I suppose I really took over in 2000.
Yeah. And what's it like working with such a wonderful product that you've got?
Oh, it's a privilege and it's an honour. I mean, I'm a custodian of the company for the future. We can make decisions very quickly. It's a family company. All the people that work with us are part of that family.
And is that something your tradition you're going to take on for the next generation and the next generation?
I very much hope so. I've got 3 children. My oldest son is in the business. And I hope he takes it on, and maybe one day his son or my daughter's son, you know, take over.
Oh, fantastic. And tell us about your customers. Who are your customers now?
Oh, we have a real broad base of customers, from cruise ships to airlines to top-notch hotels throughout the world, to department stores, independent retailers, cook shops. The list goes on.
Because it's one of those things that is often on the wedding list, as I said in the intro. You
know,
it is. Arthur Price silverware, it's just wonderful. And you work with some really top designers as well, don't you?
Yes,
with your cutlery. Well, let's have a look and see what you've
Lovely,
got today. So
lovely.
where should we start? It all looks
Start
wonderful.
with this, shall
Okay, come on then.
Now
Tell us about this.
This is the original minute book, which my
the original one.
the original one,
Wonderful.
the actual one, which shows the signature of my great grandfather there.
Oh, and it says here Arthur Price.
That's right.
That's
on the 2nd of October 1902, which was the day before the company was incorporated.
That's incredible.
And it's interesting, it had a registration number of 75016.
Yes.
Which means we were the 75,016th company ever to be registered. And if you look, I think there's about 2,500 companies with a number less than that. But I reckon there's probably only 200 or 300 now of that age.
Isn't that incredible?
So that's nice. And so what we've done is brought out this year the next generation of cutlery, yes.
Oh, so this is brand new?
Brand new. These are literally at sample stage. So it'll be coming out in June.
So it's an exclusive for Cuppa TV.
It is. It is.
That's what we like.
For the world.
Exclusive for the world. I like that. And this, I mean, it looks amazing. And tell us about the signature.
Well, we decided to honour my great-grandfather, who would have been 150 about 7 or 8 days ago, by creating the next generation of cutlery. So we've taken the heritage and his legacy, and my son and myself are taking it to market, and what we're doing is actually placing his signature, which you can see there on every piece.
That's incredible.
So it's something which we haven't done.
Yes.
We've, as you rightly said, we've used designers and got them to design for us and use their name. But now we decided to, if you like, go it alone.
Brilliant. Now let's have a look then. So let's go around the table. Now what's this?
That is the replica product of a pattern called Panel Reed that was actually on the Titanic in 1912.
So this design was actually on the Titanic?
Absolutely, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and the commander who went down in that submersible a few years ago, you must remember,
yes, I do
he actually
remember
wrote me a letter to say that the product he saw at the bottom of the Atlantic was identical to the product we showed
How
him.
incredible is that?
Isn't that incredible?
How did that make you feel when he came back with that information?
I was a little shocked, I have to a certain extent, but
Yeah.
you know, to think that my great-grandfather
Yes.
made the cutlery 10 years after the company was incorporated
That's a
for the
wonderful
Titanic.
thing,
And of course
isn't
we
it?
have Captain Smith in Lichfield,
Yes,
the
of
statue
course,
of.
yes.
So there's a bizarre link really.
Isn't that incredible? And then let's move around. Now this is one by one of your designers.
Yes, we've been working with Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen now for, this is the 16th year. And probably, I think we've just topped the 5 million pieces of cutlery under his brand,
Really?
which is fantastic.
Yes.
And this is one of his latest designs.
Now is this where you put the knife and the fork?
No, that's the one you've got.
Yes.
This one's called Feast, a little bit more blingy and
yes.
shiny.
Very pretty design.
And people like real designers.
Do you think people have got wanting simple designs
Yes.
as opposed to maybe something like that?
I think
have we gone more simple in design?
Yeah, I think China's gone white.
Yes.
And I think cutlery has gone quite plain. But the interesting thing about that is that some of the more we would call traditional patterns are actually coming back. They might be 300 years old, but because they're sleek and they're slim, are actually becoming young people's
Something
favourites.
like the Titanic design.
No,
for
more
instance, or
like this, a little
yes.
bit more like this, yeah.
Fantastic. And then what about these?
These are, we are producing cutlery for children, and
Yes.
we linked up with the Gruffalo.
The Gruffalo.
And we do little Gruffalo's
Yes.
Child. These are for little ones, for sort of 3 to 4 years old.
Oh, how sweet is
Really
that?
sweet.
Look.
And then the
so
the
sweet.
larger one with the Gruffalo.
Yes. But again, it's very popular, isn't
Oh,
it?
hugely
So,
popular.
you know, oh wow, look at that.
And it's nice to be able to get good
lovely
cutlery into
gift.
children's hands,
Yeah.
really.
Do you
rather
think
than
that's important to you to get your customers, if you like, from an early age?
very important, yeah, absolutely. And it's great because the grandparents have often bought our products and they go and buy it for their grandchildren.
Yes.
So, very important that we get cutlery is only bought probably twice in a lifetime, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, and when is it bought? When would you say it's bought?
At weddings, moving house, divorce, things like that.
Yes.
But and sometimes, often, when kids have left home, people want to refresh their dining room and change everything. But it's only I mean, these products are guaranteed for 50 years. There aren't many products like
I was
that.
going 50 years this will last. So yes, that's it. Does that? And what about this one over here?
This
tell me
one,
about
this was cutlery made for the Concorde in
Right.
1976.
And is this so? This one, can you buy this one now? So this one's totally
no.
out of commission
This was
now.
made. My father designed this, and as you can see, it's got the C logo, the
Yes, it's
Concorde
got the
logo.
C Concorde logo.
And they didn't,
yeah.
apparently in the days gone by, they didn't buy that many pieces for the Concorde, thinking that it would stay on the aeroplane, but apparently vanished quite quickly.
Yes, I wonder why.
Yes, I wonder why. So they changed it to the British Airways logo, so
Yes.
people didn't, shall we say, take a
Yes.
memento
Yeah.
of the occasion.
But I mean, it's all beautiful. And what's this down here? We've got
This,
so many pieces
this
to
is
look at.
a piece. This is made in Birmingham.
Yes.
And we make all our silverware in Birmingham. So just an
Is that
example.
important that it remains in Birmingham to you?
Yeah, it is
Simon?
very important. I mean, we're as you can probably tell by my jacket, I'm quite proud to be
Yes,
British, and
yeah.
to be still making products in Birmingham, and exactly the same way as they were made
Oh,
40 or 50
really?
years ago by
So the
skilled
same
craftsmen.
skilled craftsmen.
Absolutely, silversmiths and polishers and platers.
And will that always be the way? Will you
I
continue
hope so.
to do
I
that?
hope so. Yeah, I see no reason why not. I mean, we do a lot of hospitality silverware, which is also made in Birmingham. So you'll see that in some of the major hotels.
And what else is in that tin down there?
This
You're
little
hiding from me.
tin. This is not for eating. This was a gift which came in the post in a lovely white box about 3-4 years ago, and there was a clue on the box. It had the
Yes.
the interesting initials E2R on the top right-hand corner, which meant that I was either in huge trouble or it was some kind of gift. And inside was a little box. Here it is with a piece of the wedding cake
That's
from
incredible. So
from
this was
William
sent
and
to you?
Sent to us, because we hold the Royal Ranch to His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales.
What a wonderful gift,
Well,
a
it
wonderful
was,
memento.
and wonderfully
And presumably you
thoughtful.
weren't expecting that, so
No.
what a wonderful, thoughtful
No,
gift.
absolutely. And I think
Something to treasure as well.
Absolutely, and I shall
Yes.
keep that in it.
Yes,
I don't want
absolutely.
anybody nibbling.
We won't best leave that on the table
No,
then. We better keep that one
I think
safe.
we'll hide that.
And finally, what's that other box? Because you've got so many
This,
wonderful pieces that you bought today.
When my father was evacuated in, I think, 1937, no, 39, I beg your pardon, one of the caveats, he had to take some cutlery with him, which was a bit lucky, I suppose.
Yes.
To this, with the school he was going to in Southport. And so my grandfather made him some cutlery. I suppose that was quite easy for him to
Yes.
do. And that was the cutlery he used in the late 1930s. And so what we decided to do, again, to link to our heritage, is to actually bring back some vintage products, which are the same pattern as my father used in the 30s.
Vintage seems to be quite popular,
Very much,
doesn't it,
very
at
much.
the moment? So,
And so we're making
these
a
are
range of little
wonderful.
gifts,
Yes, look.
which are the original pattern we made all those years ago.
Fantastic.
Matches
Well,
my shirt.
it's been wonderful, Simon. Fascinating
Pleasure.
to see all your products.
Pleasure.
And thank you so
I've
much
got a little
for
gift
bringing...
for you before you go. So I want you to look after Arthur for me.
This is Arthur.
This is Arthur.
And is that
Isn't
for
it?
me?
This is for you.
That's so wonderful.
As long as you look after
I
him.
promise to.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
That's wonderful. Thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much, Simon.
you.
It's been a real pleasure. And thank you for bringing in all your products.
Thank
you. That's it for today. I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining me on Cuppa TV. Please do get in touch with us, either on Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV, or you can email the show. Thank you so much for watching. Come back and join us soon. Bye-bye. I was recently joined by Simon Price, CEO of Arthur Price, and look what he gave me. I'd like you to meet Arthur. He's going to be my new Cuppa TV mascot. Catch Arthur and myself on Cuppa TV every day. Bye-bye.